Now, I wouldn't recommend this for everyone. So that's going to be my disclaimer.
This is your way.
This is my way.
Yeah.
And it's the way that it's worked for me. I weaned myself off of thyroid meds, and I just said, I'm going to be true to me, and I'm going to listen to me. And when I get off track, I'm going to be kind to myself, because that's really what it's all about.
So we're here today with Antoinette Leis, who has a beautiful story of transformation that we thought we should share with everybody.
Everybody needs to hear stories of transformation.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so inspiring. The place that you were years and years ago, and then the place that you are now, you can feel the energy just vibrating off of you. It's like you're lit up from the inside.
I wish you guys could be here with her. She is a beautiful being.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And Sarah's emotional because you guys have known each other for quite a long time.
10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. Gosh, thank you both. Sarah and I do this often, so it's just who we are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started seeing Sarah in the spring of 2010.
For acupuncture.
Yes,
at
for
the clinic.
acupuncture. Yes. And I was guided to her through an injury that I had, and the practitioner that I was seeing for physical therapy was like, you need to go see Sarah. My original start was because I wasn't sleeping. And in those 10 years, she's seen me through, life, a divorce, heartache, pain, the whole thing. And it's still my drug of choice, which is what I tell everyone. So thank you for that.
My pleasure. An honor to be in your life in that way and to have you trust me and be so vulnerable with me.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you've known Sarah for 10 years and you had come to the clinic for some physical pain, but let's hear a little bit about who you are, where you started, who you are at the core, what you were like then, and then we can move forward from there. But what's the foundation of Antoinette?
Awesome. I came to Sarah originally because I had fractured my tibia. I had started a women's boot camp class that was amazing back in 2009, and just pushed myself so hard and was just really trying to be the best me that I could for myself and for my little guy at the time, who was 3, so he was tiny. And I fractured my tibia running, and I was seeing a physical therapist, and she was like, you know what, go see Sarah. She's great. She'll be able to help you with your sleep. And we kind of went from there. And through that process, I realized that there was more to what was going on inside of me than I had really allowed myself to think about or to really even realize. I was in a really tumultuous relationship that wasn't healthy. I was a mom and I was working full time. And I knew that there was something that wasn't right in my being. And I was completely disconnected from me. I didn't, pretty much my entire life, I've never completely loved who I was. Never happy with my body. Always feeling like I needed to be something for someone else instead of for me. So that transformation really started probably back in like 2008 when I knew something wasn't right and I was just seeking answers. And then trying to find an exercise program that really was going to resonate with me. And the boot camp class was awesome, but I went from like 0 to like 180. And clearly my body wasn't ready for that.
Nobody is ready for that.
Right. So I started seeing Sarah, like I said, specifically for sleep. And then she just always peeled back the layers. It was like she saw me. She saw inside of my soul, and she literally has known me better than I've known myself. And that's priceless for me. So each time I would meet with her, it was like we would work on this thing, but then she always heard more than my words were, which is, the gift that you both have. Because Stephanie, you've taken good care of me too over the years.
She heard your heart.
She did hear my heart. She still hears my heart every time.
And I see you for who you are, even when you couldn't see you.
Yes.
I see all of the beautiful things that are in there that you have at times not been able to access or see or just live.
Yeah.
You mentioned that there was a lot more that you were sort of disconnected with. Where are you from, and what growing up, or where did that come from, the disconnect?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. In the last probably 5 years, I've really expanded so much and really tapped into the home that this is. And I was raised by a single mom. We moved 14 times by the time I was in the 6th grade.
Wow.
So there was never any stability. I don't know my biological father. I was blessed when I was 13 to move in with my great aunt and uncle, kind of on a whim. It was supposed to be I was just supposed to go there for the summer, and life happens, and I just ended up staying. And then they thought that I should, go back and be with my mother. And of course, at 15, 16, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I thought they didn't love me anymore. And so there was always these feelings of kind of lack and unworthiness.
I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough.
I'm not chosen.
Absolutely. And so I ended up, I lived in a really small town, and I ended up moving in with this other wonderful couple who didn't have any children. And that always sounds weird to people, but it's sort of a long story. And so I was blessed with 2 amazing sets of parents, and they forever have created a different path for me. And I'm so grateful to each and every piece of that. My mother, who, we have a bit of an estranged relationship, but we text, and it's great. And I've been able to embrace just what that is in the now. My aunt and uncle, I lost him back in 2000, and that was devastating, but I also have a different view on, where we go after we leave this physical body, which makes it a lot more peaceful than it used to be. Yeah. And then my other set of parents, they're back in the Carolinas, and, I'm blessed beyond measure, and so is my son, because he's got
your chosen family.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's huge. So then kind of fast forward, I always kind of had this connection, and I've done lots of different things over the years, like, soul retrievals, and, she said that I really kind of lost myself at 13, which, we're teenagers, and that happens a lot, but I withdrew, because I didn't have anybody to really help me understand who I was. So I became, like I said, somebody who was here for other people, not for me.
So that's huge.
It's huge.
I think a lot of people feel like that.
Yeah.
Somebody who's here for other people, not for you.
Yeah. And I always thought that I was doing it because I wanted to, or I just thought it was what I was supposed to do. And so I made some interesting choices around relationships, the people that I even dated in high school. And it's funny because I would have these moments of almost like enlightenment, where like I broke up with my high school boyfriend. It was all about like change and empowerment, and I was going to be, conquer the world. And then I would just fall back into, I guess, doubting myself and not following what I truly wanted to do or be, because I didn't know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And making choices in relationships where you don't have a lot of self-worth.
Yes.
Right? So that looks a lot different than who you are today.
Yes. I've been through 2 marriages. I don't regret any of my life. I don't actually regret any of the choices that I've made, because each and every one of them got me to this now. But both of my marriages were with very dominant, narcissistic men. They're beautiful in their own right. And they taught me a lot about who I am. They taught me how to get here. I give them that from afar.
They were teachers.
Absolutely, because everyone who crosses your path is a teacher.
Yeah.
And when you can see the gift, even in the things that don't feel good, it's life-changing. Yeah. And Sarah knows that I haven't always been able to see that. It's really been in the last couple of years that I've really been able to shift my view. Like, I've always loved people. I am a pourer of love. I see people and I believe in people. And sometimes that's taken in the wrong vein.
But I think that's who you are as a person, right? And in the past, I think that because you were living in lack of self-worth, your pouring of love without boundaries attracted people and relationships that didn't serve you. Yeah. But now, in your, story of transformation and development of boundaries, so love with boundaries serves you beyond any.
So, that's interesting. So after you mentioned you arrived in the clinic, you started working on your pain, and then transformation really began for you a couple years ago, like you mentioned. What was the sort of push and pull or the struggle in those years between, before you really felt like things shifted for you?
Yeah.
What did that look like for you? What were some of the patterns that came up or the limiting beliefs that you noticed?
Yeah, good. I would meet with Sarah, and there was so much opening that would happen. And again, she would kind of hear what I was saying, even though I didn't know that I was saying it per se. I went through a very tumultuous divorce, and so I got divorced. I sold my house. A couple years later, I quit my very successful career and started a new career. It took me 18 months to make that choice, because I don't always listen. At least I didn't then. I listen now to my inner...
To yourself.
Yes, to my inner being. I have a very strong faith in my spirituality. The ocean is my church. The moon is my best friend. They're the things that resonate the most with me and keep me grounded. So through those changes, it was like I would take steps forward in this belief in who and what I am and what I can accomplish. I mean, selling your house and divorcing someone and becoming, kind of just one and your child, and creating a new life for the two of you, and fully knowing that I was making the right decision for us. But it wasn't easy. It was difficult, and it was there was lots and lots and lots of tears. And I've always been really transparent with my son about the choices that mommy makes, and that sometimes it's okay to make a misstep, and sometimes it's okay to be vulnerable and to show that to other people, including him. I think a lot of parents try to be strong and stoic and don't show any emotion. And I believe in being really transparent and just real. And so there was days that he would find me in my bed crying. And he loved me through the process. And he still does. So in that time too, I made some choices around relationships. I always seem to gravitate towards people who aren't completely available. It's easier, it's safer. It's, even though I long for a relationship, I always knew that they weren't the right people, but I always felt that giving this physical body was more important, and that somehow by providing that or filling that need, that somehow that was going to fulfill me completely.
I think that would resonate with a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. It's, the physical being, this physical body that we reside in, that we choose to come into. And for a long time, I didn't know why or how I would ever choose this body. And now I literally tell my body that I love it every day and really embrace just the who that I am. And it loves you back when you pour love into it.
Was there a moment or an event or a time where you were like, the transformation has begun?
Oh, absolutely. So this is funny, and a lot of people won't get it, and I don't care.
Everybody has a story. It doesn't have to be mainstream.
Exactly. So it was probably, and it's so funny because who I am now, time is very relative to me. But I think it was probably the fall of maybe 2018, possibly. And Ariana Grande came out with this song, which is very funny.
Oh, this is great.
And it was Thank You Next. So, when you really listen to what that means, when you listen with your being, not with your ears, not with, the catchy tune, when you really listen with your being, it's really about thanking people, appreciating every person who crosses your path for what it is that they teach you. Because like you said, everyone's a teacher.
Yeah.
And so I really did that. Now, granted, it's, whatever you want to call it, metaphysically, it's in the physical, whatever you want to look at it. But I literally went through every person that I could think of, and I really took time to say thank you, to really think about what they provided to me, whether it felt good or whether it didn't. Because that was really important, because it's almost like cutting cords and freeing yourself from those who have crossed your path or been with you intimately or whatever that looks like. You share energy, like you said, you can feel people's energy.
Yeah, positive or negative.
Absolutely.
There's a connection.
And so I literally can remember probably being in the bathtub, my Zen space, and just thinking about each and every one of them and just releasing them and just saying thank you. And, then it's literally just beautiful beings have walked into my life. And I am forever grateful for each and every one of them. And then, I also work with an energy worker who, releases those things that are stuck inside, and realizing that there was a lot of trauma when I was in the womb. There's a lot of like negative beliefs and ancestral things that I brought with me into this lifetime. And just releasing those and really just rising sort of like a phoenix from the ashes. And I remember feeling those moments.
If we talk about transformation and we think about it in terms of what used to be your pattern and what maybe now is your practice.
Yes.
You were talking about how you went from 0 to 180 miles an hour with your boot camp.
Yeah.
So physically or just in practice of loving your body or movement or caring for yourself, what did it used to look like and what is it now?
Yeah. I went from 0 to 180. Some things cracked.
Years ago.
And through that process, I've done cleanses. I've been quite ill, and I had Epstein-Barr virus, and I saw I've always been guided to beautiful practitioners who have cared for me exponentially, and I've never had to seek them. Just like Sarah, like they've always just been given to me. So it reminds me all the time that, you ask and it's given when you really just know that and walk in that knowing. So I've been through so many iterations of different physical things, taking thyroid meds because I have hypothyroidism and, taking all these medications and doing, cleanses and enemas and, blood transfusion things. So many things that I can't even honestly keep track. Taken so many vitamins, so many pills. I've lost weight. I've gained weight. I've, I used to run, which was my joy. And then I had knee surgery back in 2013 because I tore my meniscus again, moving too fast. It's always my reminder, moving too fast.
Pushing too hard,
trying to do something to my body that it wasn't really ready to do.
Battle instead of dance with it.
Oh, yes, perfect. And I didn't love my body then either. Even at my very thinnest when I was running, I didn't love my body. I didn't appreciate, like I would look at it and be like, oh my gosh, you look amazing. But I still didn't see myself. I always have battled weight. And again, battled it, not danced with it. And when you've done that for your entire life, even when your body transforms and it looks amazing, because you both have seen me when I've looked like that, I didn't see it. I still saw what I would say in that space, not in this space, but I still saw the fat me, the overweight me, the me that I didn't love.
It did not translate to self-love.
No.
It did not translate to feelings of worthiness, of enough, of acceptance.
Never. And people don't understand that because they don't know how you can look in the mirror and still see something that no one else sees. And it's in the reverse too, because other people see me and they are like, gosh, like, over time they would be like, gosh, you look great. Like, but I couldn't, like those words didn't ever really click. I would just say thank you, kind of like a robot. And so, doing green smoothies and trying to do no carbs and doing no gluten and eliminating eggs and, getting rid of dairy, but I was always doing it to chase something. I was never doing it to embrace me and to really like dive into me. Fast forward to now.
Yeah.
I just listen. So last February, so almost a year ago, I woke up one morning and I just said, I don't want to do this anymore. I weaned myself off of thyroid meds that I'd been taking for who knows how long. Now, I wouldn't recommend this for everyone. So that's going to be my disclaimer.
This is your way.
This is my way.
Yeah.
And it's the way that it's worked for me. I weaned myself off of thyroid meds and I just said, I'm going to be true to me, and I'm going to listen to me. And when I get off track, I'm going to be kind to myself, because that's really what it's all about. I have literally like jumped in an ocean, almost an ocean of me. And I have moments of feeling, there's this beautiful picture that I saw of this girl, and there's literally butterflies pouring out of her chest. And I see that so often in myself, and I honestly feel it. Am I perfectly where I want my body to be today? No. I meditate daily, multiple times a day. That's my joy, that's my peace, that's my grounding. I pre-pave my day, I pre-pave moments.
Tell us what that means for you.
So even like this, like I don't do podcasts, even though it's something
Yes, you do.
I know, yes, I know I do.
Here we go.
Which has actually been something I've been thinking about doing anyway, just to tell stories and to really talk to people and be real and transparent. So I absolutely love what you guys are doing, and am truly honored to be here. But, you know, pre-paving, just like really thinking about even like this moment and how this was going to flow. You know, whenever Sarah and I connect, like it's not like there's an agenda. Like, sure, I'm there for acupuncture and like to have for me, it's a meditative time. But the conversation, it's not like it's like I know exactly what I'm going to talk to her about. Like I might tell her that my knee hurts, but there's always more to it. And so same thing with this, that I was like, you know, this is going to be a really organic, real conversation. And so there was no uneasy feelings or fear. I think we all everybody has some level of fear, whether it's, you know, fear of spiders or fear of falling down or fear of, you know, whatever that is. But, you know, fear is very limiting. And so when you can kind of expand beyond that and just know that you're truly always going to be guided, and it's okay if you fall down. It's really okay, because you just get up and you wipe yourself off and you just keep moving, because you just get closer to what it is that you're here for. And as far as exercise, you know, it's funny that you talk about that, because I do so much for my body from you know, I've got my crystals and I do lots of woo-woo magic, and I sit in the tub and I meditate and I go and sit with the water. And I move, but I don't move as much. I do yoga, which I love. And, but it's funny because I'm like being called to do something more. And so I'm listening to that and I'm excited.
What does that mean? You've used the word listening a couple times. What does that mean for you, so people can understand what you're talking about?
Yeah. So it's really connecting with my inner being or source or divine or my light energy, whatever. Everyone has a different view. I'm not an organized religion person. I think that's wonderful for a lot of people. For me, it's really about your spirit and what speaks to you. Like, what brings you joy? Because our ultimate goal each day is to do what feels good and to like live happily ever after.
And tap into your
this.
truth.
Absolutely. And to really like hear it. So I am a huge proponent of Abraham Hicks. You can find her on YouTube. For some people, they don't get it. For me, like, she's magnificent. And I actually just listened to, the very first one I listened to was called Happily Ever After. And it's really about just finding your joy, like asking for what you want and then knowing that it's going to come and then allowing it to come, because we all want things, we all desire things, and none of those things are too big or too small. But we block ourselves. We don't
get in our own way.
We absolutely get in our own way. And that's okay, because it's just part of this human experience that we have. And so for me, just like when I'm on the acupuncture table, like that connection to me is that beautiful, tingly, like feeling when you just feel like the life energy flowing through your body. That's when you know that you're completely connected with whatever it is that you want to call it. I call it source. I call it my inner being. I call it, my best friend. And it's really awesome when you can tap into that.
Yeah. I mean, it's such an amazing thing to be able to watch you just walk in such a different way and exist in such a different way, to be paving your day and meditating, and the moon is your best friend and so is your source. And you have trust and you have faith and you believe in yourself, and I see you with abundance and so much self-worth and so much love coming from all the right places.
Yes. Yeah.
And giving to all the right places, and just having that sense of knowing that you're going to be okay, even though sometimes you're not going to be okay.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's life for all humans.
Absolutely.
And I just see you vibrating in such a different way, with so much ease and lightness and peace and joy.
Yeah.
And I think it's all that anybody really wants, right? And to know that you came from relationships where you were, that you wouldn't choose today because they were dominant and didn't serve you, and that you were giving your body away to try to feel worth, kind of like a drug in a way.
Absolutely. A drug.
And that's not even who you are today.
No.
That person doesn't exist anymore. You shed her.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of my transformation too, just like with the whole name thing. So my first name is Antoinette, and my middle name is Maria. I have always, my entire life, wanted to go by Antoinette. And yet, again, I didn't, because when I was little, they said, oh, little other kids can't say it, please. But I fell for it. I fell for the story. And so I went by Maria, like almost my entire life, up until I went into real estate 5 years ago, and kind of started to make the change, but still it was like people have always known me. And then literally 2 years ago, I was like, why? Like, this is who I am. And honestly, it feels amazing, because I finally feel like me. And, there's people who struggle. They're like, oh, I don't know that I can ever, like, you're Maria. And I'm like, but it's actually not about you. It's actually about me. And I would have never,
right.
I would have never said that. And so I'm selfishly unselfish, and I am perfectly imperfect. And I'm not apologetic for any of it, because I still love, like, I still can release anyone from my existence and do it from a place of love and appreciation. And that feels amazing. And to be able to love and appreciate me and who I am, and really curating this beautiful being and curating this home. That's really how I look at it. My latest revelation was in December, and literally sitting in my living room in front of the fire, drinking cacao. That's my other, forgot about that. I don't know how I did. And I literally started sobbing, like tears of joy, because I finally knew what home really means. These are beautiful structures that we live in. They're beautiful properties. They're beautiful houses. A lot of people call them homes. In what I do, I kind of am sort of guided to do that, but they're not home. Home is here, and then we reside in these beautiful spaces that we pour these beautiful homes that we all reside in into these beautiful spaces. Mm-hmm. And it was the most freeing feeling, really, really exponential for me.
Well, and at the end of the day, this is all we really have.
It's all we have.
Right?
Yeah.
Just us.
Yeah.
Walking around in these bodies.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story and be vulnerable and open about the struggle and the triumphs and everything in between. It's so encouraging because people all around the world feel these same types of feelings, and there's power in telling stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Yeah.